And hello. Thank you very much for joining me today. How you doing? Why are so many Americans moving to Germany? It's a good question. Honestly, I didn't know they were. But that's interesting to know. By Your True Brit, check them out, link down below. It looks like this is a compilation of different Americans, talking about why they moved to Germany. I don't know how this Brit found so many Americans in Germany. Maybe they're not hard to find. I guess they're easy to spot, easy to hear. Anyway, let's see.
From Minnesota.
California.
New Jersey.
California is a very desirable state, which is where we live.
From the
That's what every Californian thinks. It is nice.
United States.
I'm from Kentucky, originally in the States.
It is nice in California.
Why do you think Americans like to move to Germany so much? Why is there so many?
Kentucky's right near me, so that's cool. I feel like you probably won't find too many Kentuckians in Germany. I don't know. I feel like, well, honestly, Kentucky, a lot of these states, Midwest, you're not near major airport hubs. And so it's expensive to travel, and people are not particularly rich in these parts of America.
Whenever you come to Germany, you realize how many Americans actually are here. Let's find out why so many Americans decide to move to Germany. Is it because of the work-life balance or something more?
Probably healthcare. Maybe because your president is not Trump. Chancellor. That's a cool intro,
I think it's
man.
the quality of life. I think that Germany has certain laws and regulations, and they adhere to them. For example, when we got in the taxi driver said we can't put luggage in the front. In America, you can literally do whatever you want.
I think some.
It is interesting hearing that coming from a Californian, because in California, I don't know what part she's from. I'm not trying to make fun of her in any way, by the way. My bad if it seems that way. But in California, crime does run rampant in some cities. So, when she says they actually adhere to the laws, I think that's especially true as far as a contrast to California. In some parts of California, California is very nice. I'm not trying to bash it.
Something that Americans experience when they come to different European countries, maybe especially a region like Bavaria, is there's such a clear kind of ethos or identity. There's a history, there's a culture, there's a unique dialect, unique foods, unique drinks.
Traffic.
That's interesting. I mean, it's like a real unified community in a way, huh? But at the same time, it's a unified community that you ain't part of. Like, you're American, you're from Kentucky or something. So I could see how that's desirable to live in a unified community like that. But if you're not part of it, I'm not sure what the benefit is.
And public transportation.
There's a unique dialect, unique foods, unique drinks.
Traffic and public transportation. And I guess in the umbrella of that is the social welfare in general across healthcare.
I've got the hiccups.
And the culture really kind of allows for that. More sociability. It doesn't feel like it's
More sociability. I guess he means like social programs.
dog eat dog.
There's so much to do outside. Everybody spends time outside. Everybody's so nice here. It's easy to just talk to everybody.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. It's amazing how different accounts from different people will just differ so wildly. Hearing an American say, "Oh, I like Germany. We moved here because you can talk to everybody and they're all so nice." I mean, I've heard the exact opposite. So what is it? I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it, folks. Like, obviously, I've heard a million times here in America, everybody talks to each other. They'll say hello to you as you walk down the street past them. But this lady's having a big social experience in Germany. That's cool. That's awesome.
Food here is amazing. There's so much BO kind of food here.
BO, body odor. That's what BO stands for to me. What did she just say?
Just talk to everybody. The food here is amazing.
Now, the food being amazing. Oh, yeah, I know that. I can tell.
There's so much BO.
And I've had some German food. There's actually some German restaurants, like some legit German restaurants. There's actually some legit German, like, towns in my area.
Kind of food here. People.
You know, there's a town, for example, a little town called Habstadt. It's about, you know, it's a little ways away, but that's a straight up German name, you know, and they've got German things there. It's pretty cool. And good food.
Everybody, the food here is amazing. There's so much BO kind of food here.
I don't know what that means.
People just
food.
really take care of their lives and living here.
I'm much more aware of how loud me and my friends are in public. That's just a habit.
Yeah.
I like beer a lot more now. I wasn't a beer drinker before I came here, and now I'm a
There you go. That's the benefit. You move to Germany, you become an alcoholic.
big beer girl now. I will always preface when I walk into a shop or something, I'll ask.
I do feel that I would develop a much more rich taste for beer. My taste right now for beer, I can tell it's very pitiful, because I like light beers that barely taste like beer. It's embarrassing.
That's when I walk into a shop or something, I'll ask English. He's the English.
Sorry.
Just make sure they
I'm sorry. I'm interrupting her. I'm skipping her by accident.
into a shop or something, I'll ask sprechen Sie English. Just make sure they speak English, so I'm not like assuming, everybody speaks English here.
Why do so many Americans say about this work-life balance?
I feel like that's such an American thing right there, what she did, where she kind of laughed about something that's, and I'm sure I do it too. It's just interesting because I feel like that's an American thing. Like she's laughing about something that's not really a joke. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you tell me, is that an American type of trait to be like, I ask them if they speak English?
Like, how big of a difference is it to you?
Yeah, it definitely exists a lot more here than in the U.S. I mean, in the U.S. it's just work. If you want to get time off, then, make sure you take like what you're allowed. But here it's just, they want to make sure that you're happy and you can actually live your life. Yeah, big difference.
Well, COVID changed everything. For the first time ever, people could work remotely and keep their job.
Right.
And once they started...
I'm sorry. Sometimes when people say things, it just makes me laugh the way they say it. Like, they can work remotely and keep their job. Before, you could work remotely, but you would not have a job. So you would be working remotely for nobody.
Doing that, they said, well, shoot, if I'm willing to work in a different time zone, for example, my daughter works for Amazon, and she's based in Seattle, but she lives in New York, because they said, fine. So it's a 3-hour time difference, but she enjoys that. She gets up earlier, and she has more time to herself. But you can work in Europe and have a 6-hour time difference or 8-hour time difference. So as long as your company allows you and you pay your taxes, often an international company says, yes, you can live wherever you want.
In the United States,
I've never heard that explanation before. That's interesting, I guess. There's more. Actually, I'm going to listen to her answer again because it was kind of confusing. Wow, I just listened to the answer again, and that was actually quite confusing, and I'm not sure what her point is as far as like how that's a benefit of living in Europe. Go on.
Often an international company says, yes, you can live wherever you want.
in the United States, it's
I guess you could live in America then.
go home, it's go to work, go home, go to work, go home. That's all there is. And people brag about how long it's been since they take a vacation.
That's true. Oh my gosh. If you have some free time and you want a laugh, you have to try to find blue collar TikTok videos. Blue collar, like American TikTok videos. I mean, it's people that like parodying this type of personality or culture here in America where blue collar workers. And I know guys like this. That's why it's funny. They will brag about how much overtime they worked. They work 60 hours a week. And you see these hands? These are man hands. Look at the calluses on my hands. Kid, I worked 75 hours yesterday, and I haven't had a vacation in 55 years. It's pretty funny.
It's a good one. That is a great one.
In America, we live to work, and here it feels like we work to live. So it's nicer. Yeah, you go out and you see there's like people in the cafe. We don't really have this kind of culture in the streets. Everybody's driving, everybody's kind of in their own silo of thought.
This guy has a nice voice. He should do a podcast. By the way, if you've seen Google's new video to AI where it has sound now, I can't help it. This guy looks and sounds like it's one of those AI Google videos, like it's fake. They're so irrelevant, so worthless. I'm so sorry for wasting your time saying that, but hey, if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about.
Kind of culture in the streets, everybody's driving, everybody's kind of in their own silo of thought. And we're usually driving to work once again. And yeah, the work-life balance here, there's more of the life part. And I think that as Americans, that's kind of actually what we want or need more of is.
In America, a lot of people, work to death under some kind of like false premise that one day they're going to be rich. Now, it's like they're going to strike it rich somehow, or they're going to have their American dream. And for some people, it's true. I'm not trying to say it's not true at all, but I'd say the majority of people, it's kind of not true, sadly. And so it's kind of like I don't want to say it's like a scam, but, some people fall into that trap where they just work their whole life away. And then, they've never really lived, I guess.
Is that
scary thought?
You can kind of spot an American, right? Because the stereotypical way is they're very loud. So I'm hoping, don't kill me, Americans. We can grab some guys and see what they're going to say.
So far, he's done a great job finding them.
You good? You ready? Let's go. What do you think about the healthcare? I know, obviously, why is it so different in America? Like, a lot of people are saying about the healthcare is not the best. Or what's your opinion on that?
I mean, having a baby
What was his opinion?
in the U.S. So if you have a C-section, it's 60,000 plus. If you have a regular,
I'm sorry. What did you just say to me?
Saying about the healthcare is not the best. Or what's your opinion on that?
I mean, having a baby in the U.S. So if you have a C-section, it's 60,000 plus. If you have a regular delivery, it's 30,000.
Okay. I kind of annoy myself with this because I can't help it. I honestly hate the American healthcare system. It's garbage. Like, you pay out the butt for everything. You pay like $50 for an aspirin, but $30,000 to give birth. That's not true. It's not true. I just have to say that. I've done it. I mean, I haven't given birth, but my wife has twice. I mean, if we're talking about not having insurance, everybody needs insurance here in America. If you don't have health insurance, that's pretty bad. But if you don't have health insurance, then they will actually give you a special rate. And a lot of times a lot of hospitals are actually like religious or have some kind of religious affiliation, which is weird. But with that said, I guess because of that like kind of religious background, they try to help you if you don't have any money. To an extent, don't get me wrong, you will still go bankrupt here in America from healthcare expenses. But like giving birth, I will tell you flat out, for instance, my wife just gave birth not long ago. It was $3,000. Not 30. 3. Still crazy. But like I can't just sit here and be like, oh yeah, 30 grand. Yeah. No, it's not.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
That's insane.
I know. And so I think people.
And if you're going to say that, you have to at least say, without insurance, which still, I mean, I would be, I don't know what it is without insurance.
People end up kind
It might be $30,000. I don't freaking know, but God, you should not give birth without insurance. That's for sure.
of, getting it written off with financial aid somehow, or a lot of people end up going into debt.
Why don't we just go to Canada? The healthcare. I don't know. I honestly can't say anything educated about that. I haven't had any significant, thankfully, problems with that.
I respect that.
I really want to say this. So Obama created a healthcare disaster, and instead of just creating a healthcare program for the 22% of people who were uncovered and giving them some universal coverage, he changed everyone's healthcare. People like me who
Well, you can't really just give people who are uninsured coverage because it's not that simple, because then all of a sudden, guess what? Everybody's dropping their healthcare coverage. Why would you pay for health insurance if you could just stop paying and get covered? So the plan needs to be a little bit more, refined than that, but I hear her out. Let me hear her out.
universal coverage, he changed everyone's healthcare. People like me who pay an enormous amount of money for private healthcare pay a lot more now for a lot less. So my benefits greatly decreased under the new Obamacare system. He burdened the system with the huge amount of bureaucracy that wastes a huge amount of the funding. So when my cousin had a bike accident in France and she broke her hand and the paramedics came, 6 of them, and took her off to the hospital and mended her, she was presented with no.
I just have to say, before she finishes her story about the France, we've gone on a tangent now. Blaming Obama for the healthcare, a little bit odd. For expensive healthcare, that's pretty odd. Yeah.
No bill.
Yeah, I think healthcare.
The whole point of Obamacare was that he made it mandatory to get health insurance, which obviously just economically, when you have a larger pool of participants in the insurance, it should drop the cost for all the participants at least a little bit. Now, of course, you have inflation that's working against that every single year, and we've had rampant inflation. So have healthcare costs gone down? No, not at all. They've gone up. But I don't think it's because of Obamacare. And actually, when I didn't get insurance through my job, Obamacare really helped me because it provided some subsidized plans that I could afford. So I'm not going to hate on Obamacare.
In the U.S. is very privatized, so it's a very strange system how it grew up, how basically health insurance is provided by your employer. So unless you have that full.
Although I will say, and I'm sorry, I'm interrupting these people. I will say it's not all just roses, with Obamacare, because who else loved Obamacare? The health insurance companies. Because all of a sudden now the entire nation was mandated to purchase private health insurance from them. That's pretty crazy. The original idea was he was going to create a public option health insurance, which was going to be a federally funded health insurance, federally ran health insurance option for people that would help compete with private health insurers. It was going to be the cheapest plan. That didn't happen, but that wasn't because of Obama. That was because of, it didn't pass Congress.
Time employed status, seeking out your own health insurance can be very expensive. Now, there have been a lot of laws passed in the past decade under Obama, and then different states doing their own kind of thing that have created markets that are more affordable for individuals who aren't employed. But there certainly could be efforts to pursue more widely accessible and affordable health care.
For one, it's not horribly expensive. We don't have to pay.
I'm not much of a socialist, despite being called Comrade Ryan, full-blown commie. But when it comes to, and I'm not saying socialism and communism are the same. They're not. I'm just saying, but when it comes to socialized services, I think healthcare should be, am I strange for that one? I think out of all the socialized services, police, healthcare, Makes sense to me.
Here in Germany, yeah, the employers pay for a lot of it, and it's automatically deducted. Whereas there in the States, it's a lot of stress to think, oh my God, I have to go to the doctor and pay for it for the next 3 years.
How different is it bringing a family in Germany compared to America? How different is it?
Oh gosh, it's so different.
This is one of my favorite subjects. I think this is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So we've lived in other countries, and I think just adapting here was just it was just so easy. You know, a lot of people here speak English. Everybody's just really kind. I don't know, but going to the U.S., I think it's very challenging.
I wanted
Not very specific, but okay.
to find out some more information about why so many Americans are coming to Germany. So I thought of a great idea to go visit a USA store.
Yeah, I think so. I have many
This guy is not American.
customers here, American customers, who are ex-military people, yeah, who were stationed in Augsburg or somewhere around in Germany,
We got the Reese's Puffs. We got the Coca-Cola.
and they married to a German wife, and also there are big companies around here. Yeah, international big companies, and they have people,
We got the Bud Light. I see it down there.
employees coming from the States. They maybe stay a year or two in Germany, yeah, and they miss stuff from home, yeah.
Do you think the American culture and the German culture are quite similar in terms of?
Yeah, it's kind of, there's some different things, yeah,
I
but
mean, we're all humans.
it's
We all poop.
yeah, Germans, they try to be an American.
We've had a lot of Americans ask me, what advice would you give someone wanting to move from America to Germany? A lot of Americans have asked me to ask.
Oh,
Yeah.
my advice is just do it and go for it and
Just do it.
find a support system to help you through it. It's not the easiest, but it'll be one of the best choices that they make.
Wow. That's a hell of a review.
So much.
Just do it.
Absolutely phenomenal interview. That is absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure, man. Your tattoos.
That was really great. I thought that was really interesting. Your True Brit. Check him out. Link down below. He's got other awesome looking videos. So check him out. That was really well done. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.